Hey, welcome to this pick a card reading where we're going to be asking the question, what do you not think you can have that the universe wants to tell you actually you can have this? So something that you feel held back from or that you feel like is just never going to be something that's achievable for you. This could be doing something, having something, being something. Whichever of those you feel like you cannot achieve, and Spirit wants you to know that actually you can, and we will see if there is any advice for getting there as well. So there are going to be 4 different readings in this video. They are represented by these 4 crystals. We have group number 1 with the Dendritic Agate, group number 2 with the Aragonite, group number 3 with the Rose Quartz, and group number 4 with this raw Smoky Quartz. So take your time, please pause the video if you need to. I highly recommend taking some deep breaths to ground yourself. Try to allow some peace into your being before you choose your pile. It's really going to help you to hone in on what the true message is for you, what the most supportive message is for you. So as always, the group selections will be given timestamps in the description box below. You can go down and click whichever group you are resonating with, and I will see you at your reading. Hi, group number 1. So let us find out what it is that you think you cannot do or be or have that Spirit wants to let you know actually you can. So what is it that group 1 feels blocked from? So we have the Empress in reverse and the 10 of Wands. Actually, I'm going to bring those cards closer so that you can see something very interesting in the center of them. Hopefully my phone will be able to pick up on it. There is a broken egg at the center of both of these images, which I find very fascinating. So there are 2 narratives that I'm feeling in association with this. They can kind of combine into one narrative, but they could also be 2 separate groups of experience. So on the one hand, it may be a person that is no longer in your life, someone who you perceived to be very loving, very abundant, very nurturing, someone who was worth your effort. And now they are gone, and what was sacred between you is broken. What was being kept safe, what was tender, what was being nurtured between the 2 of you has been cracked. That is one thread of experience with these 2 cards. The other thread has to do more with some attributes that the Empress could represent, and this Empress in particular is kind of saucy and raunchy almost. There's very earthy colors represented here, so it could be that what you're feeling blocked from is kind of being able to explore more earthy, physical, maybe sexual pleasures. And this is because all of your different desires are kind of tangled up with each other. You know, if you're frightened that if you go in one direction, you're going to lose another thing, and it's leaving you feel kind of bound and restricted in what you can want. You're feeling a lack of freedom. You're feeling like you have to conform to a particular structure. If this was a person with whom you were involved, you had the impression that you were both building the same structure, that you were kind of mirroring each other in what you were choosing to put forth effort towards, and that has now been lost, and that has thrown you into a place of feeling terribly vulnerable and fragile and alone, where that same loss for them is more like breaking away from restriction. For you, it is just exposing you and exposing your vulnerability. So now, because this is asking, what do you think that you cannot have, which Spirit is actually saying, yes, you can, I am going to look at what are the steps, or what is the method by which you can gain what you are hoping for. So we have the Eight of Cups and the Sun in reverse. So for both narratives here, both the narrative of losing a person who was pretty much your everything, and also of feeling that you cannot explore the kinds of pleasures that you might want to explore, the message is pretty similar. With the Eight of Cups here, you are being encouraged to examine what it truly is that satisfies you emotionally. What actually is it that fills you up? If you were handed all of these cups and put into the world in its entirety, and you had never been to the world before, and you were able to examine everything, every part, and pick and choose whatever you wanted, what really would it be that you would choose to fill your cup with? What really would it be that you would choose to fill your life with? And is there a possibility that having the vessel you had been protecting and nurturing and filling be broken or emptied, is it possible that that is in fact a gift and allows you to hone in far more precisely to your own authentic desires, your own truth, rather than a very narrow vision of what could be fulfilling to you? Because on the other side we have the Sun in reverse, and I want to say the Sun is never a negative card in the tarot. It is always a fortunate card, it just depends how you're looking at it. So right now you're looking at this shift in reverse. You are not seeing it for the clarity and freedom and good fortune that it is, but in fact what you are able to move towards now is something far closer to truth, to your own truth, and not something that is handed to you by your society or by the people that you are close to. This is a journey of self-discovery and backing up and identifying and supporting your own desires rather than getting trapped in a world of reciprocating what you see around you. If you have received cultural conditioning to desire certain things, to long for certain pleasures, when you check in with your spirit, would you truly want those things if you had not been presented with the idea that they are desirable? If you have lost a love, was it truly satisfying you to be matching them? Or is there something more truthful, more authentic, more aligned with you, which could be discovered by completely removing this other person, by completely removing these desires? The message in these cards is encouraging you to view what is happening as a gift, to view the denial of this pleasure, the denial of this relationship as a gift. I'm going to pull an oracle card here, and this is going to be showing what energy or action or insight is going to be most helpful to you in this moment. So I had two cards just fall out. I'm going to take them both. We have authentic self. Who are you? And if that's not a confirmation of what I was saying, I do not know what is. And we also have beacon, shine on. And I'm noticing the correspondence between the colors in these two cards. It's saying that once you find who you are going to be a light. But right now, it is this question of removing the external influences and having them be purged from your experience. If you have been blocked off from something, it is because it was not actually true to you. It is because you have something that has not been seen before, that does not correspond to trying to match any other societal norm or relationship or person. It's not about meeting the world where it's at. It's about bringing out your own light, your own truth, your own purity. And I'm not suggesting that purity is the same as, for example, chastity. I mean it in the sense of what is most truthfully representative of you. So I'm going to pull two last cards, and these are going to hopefully give an indication of what it is you're moving towards, because right now you have this desire which is very potent, and it is something from which you feel blocked, and it seems very clear that Spirit has something better in store for you than what you're hoping for right now. So I'm going to pull some cards to see what is the better thing or situation that Spirit has in store for you. have the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. So this is pretty consistent with the message that has already been delivered. Both the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords are quite solitary cards. So I think that by wrestling with these desires alone, by not having them be validated from the outside or engaged with or supported, by you having to go through this process alone and really kind of fight with them and confront them, you may find that you ultimately put them down. And I'm looking at, he's building this kind of altar or sculpture out of the wands, but here the swords have been intentionally stuck into the ground. They are no longer being engaged with. And in both images we have this white flower which begins to grow here as you are wrestling with your desires, and it comes out and it's shining as you decide to put them down, to leave them behind, which is very much consistent with this Sun card where your truth is shining through. With this Beacon card, this flower is doing exactly the same thing, and this again, the white lily would be representative of purity. So this is your purity, this is you undiluted without trying to fit into anything around you. So you're going to completely leave behind your engagement with what you currently desire. It is just going to stop mattering. You're going to drop your relationship to its influence. And the way that you come out of this, it's like what you have been engaging with, it's not even relevant. Or it is only relevant in as much as it's your past. It is not ultimately you, the truth of you. So you are getting this quite incredible opportunity to set down that which you have been conditioned to desire, to set down that which makes you anxious, and those thoughts you have which hurt you. And in so doing, you gain a lightness in your heart and a truth to your communication which had been masked or tangled up. With the 9 of Wands, instead of having these two energies kind of reciprocating the building of a foundation, there may be some time where you kind of try and do it all yourself, try and build the same thing that you thought you wanted, but all on your own. It's kind of when you say fuck it to trying to build that and simply allow yourself to be alone, that everything starts to lighten up for you. And it feels like what you gain when you put all of that down, when you put down all of your involvement with all of these influences and all of these desires, what you gain is a heart that is healed. It's as though you go from music that is distorted and dissonant to music that is like the purest notes, the most clearly defined sound. You gain a new kind of light, a kind of clarity where it's like you are in communication with your own soul, you're in communication with the reason that you were born onto this plane. I think that about wraps up this reading. I am extremely honored to be able to deliver these messages, and I'm in a complete and constant state of awe at how it could possibly be that the universe conspires to bring them out. I hope so much that it resonated for you, that it brought you some validation, confirmation, support, and fortitude on your journey. I love making videos like this. I love being a part of bringing out these messages. If this message did resonate for you and did give something to you, then of course I would be delighted if you were to like the video, give me a comment to let me know how it resonated. That always makes my day. Or subscribe to my channel, even. All of those things, I guess they boost me on the YouTube algorithm, and that is a little way of showing me that you like it. But as always, if you don't get around to doing those things, then I am delighted and honored and extremely grateful to be part of delivering these messages to you anyway. And I hope that your day is wonderful. I hope that your journey is gentle. Hey, group number 2. Let us look at what it is that you feel like you cannot have, but Spirit wants you to know that you can. What it is that you feel blocked from. So we have the 8 of Swords and the Moon in reverse. So what you feel like you can't have, which Spirit wants you to know that you can, is something like a healthy relationship with yourself, with your emotions. There is an element of communication here, because this woman in the 8 of Swords, she actually has her hand on one of the swords. She's covering her eyes, and it's like she's being blocked by these swords, but she actually has her hand on one of them, which is saying, like, you actually have the ability to communicate, to see things clearly, if you would only stop covering your eyes. Swords often represent mental clarity in the tarot. They also represent communication. This is like you have this skill, you have this ability in your hand, but some memory or self-doubt or conflicting thoughts are making you feel like you don't, and Spirit is saying you can stop identifying with that memory or with those doubts, with that conflict, because you can actually just take that sword and walk away from all of those other thoughts or memories in your way, and know that you have a capacity for clarity. And now with the Moon in reverse, there could be a spiritual element to this. It could also be emotional. Either way, it is kind of a relationship to secrets, to what is deepest within you. It might be that you want to be able to communicate that stuff. You want to communicate your deepest feelings and truth, or you may want to communicate in some kind of psychic realm, in some realm of pure feeling and intuition, and you want that to be married to your ability to speak. You want to be able to talk those things out and express them, and you are feeling like you are blocked from that, when it is more like this is a period of examination, this is a period of deeper understanding. It's not that you are blocked from it, it's that when you do come to express it, it will be all the more truthful for having taken this pause to really examine it, taken this pause to really connect with it, if it is something like psychic ability or intuitive ability that you feel like you want to be connected with, but also have these doubts around it. Or if it is the capacity to bring out your emotions and have them expressed in a healthy way in your relationships. The same thing, you do have the power to do that. It's just you need to stop identifying with the memories or the doubts which make you feel like you don't. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards now to show the method or the steps you can take in order to move towards what you want that you feel blocked from. So we have the Seven of Cups and the Queen of Swords in reverse. And what this shows is that right now the way that you perceive your emotions is like this swirling tangle of confusion. You see your emotions as potentially dangerous. You see your different wishes as being a confusion from which you want to distance yourself. And this is part of why you feel blocked off from having a kind of healthy relationship between your mind and emotions. And with the Queen of Swords in reverse, what this is saying is the thing that is blocking you here is your own self-criticism. And the way to get past this block is to engage with your emotions or desires in a less contentious way. They are not a threat to you. It is only your perceiving your emotions, your wishes as a threat that makes the relationship, makes your internal relationship difficult. If you allow yourself to be more gentle with them, to acknowledge them, to give yourself kind of freedom and sweetness in which to experience them, and know that even if you, let's say, want two different things which conflict with each other, that is a part of being human. It's not getting in the way of your success. Having multiple desires, having multiple different emotions, there is no criticism necessary. Your ability to analyze is a gift, and I think that you know it is. I think you know that you are smart and perceptive. But there is no need to perceive your different feelings or wishes as any kind of agonizing confusion. They are also a part of you. They are also communicating something valuable. It may be worth your time looking into the language of emotions and place more value on your different feelings rather than attempting to hide your deepest feelings or desires. You can engage with them in a friendly way. You can welcome yourself into experiencing them. And if this is about your relationship to intuition, and you feel like maybe there's some confusion about what's true and what isn't true, again, it's the removal of the self-judgment and the self-criticism, which is going to be your friend. Which isn't to say don't have discernment, because let's say that you make note of synchronicities as part of how you engage with your guidance. We can actually create or manifest synchronicities around things which are on a level with one part of us, but it's almost like we are testing ourselves. Or like the synchronicity is there because there is part of us that resonates with that, but the part of us which resonates with it is not in fact healed. So going down that route can lead us into what one of my teachers calls an afterglow, which is another fucking growth and learning opportunity. If we follow a synchronicity which is manifested by a part of us which is not healed, this can lead us into really learning about why that part of us is not healed, and then, you get an opportunity to heal it, which is great. And it could be that if you're engaging with your intuition, that this is part of what you are struggling with, because you kind of found this system of following synchronicities, and then they led you into a tricky situation. So it is this path of nurturing discernment. And, if you get into that kind of situation, I'm not going to pretend it's not challenging or painful at times, but there is also value to it. You also do learn and grow from it. So the removal of the self-criticism is the most important piece here, even if you have gotten into situations that you regret by following your feelings or desires or wishes. Spirit wants you to know that you don't have to hurt yourself with your thoughts on account of that. Your feelings are not your enemy. You are just deepening your relationship with them. So I'm going to pull an oracle card here, and this is going to show what action, energy, or insight is going to be the most useful to you right now. So we have clarity, go within. And I feel like some of you might be like it's going within, that's the whole problem. I don't feel like I'm competent to understand anything of my internal dynamics. But from experience, I can tell you the more you sit with it, the more you work with it, the more you try and act in the world with it being in your awareness, the deeper your understanding will be. And, it might not happen in one meditation session. It might, if you're lucky, it might take a year. You know, it's different for everybody. This is a constant journey. You have a sharp mind. You have an extraordinary depth of emotion. These things can be friends. You can approach them with compassion. You can approach the conflict between them with compassion. It may be in your interests to look into Buddhist teachings. Pema Chodron has some beautiful writings on compassionate thought and action. What I mean by that is that there are teachers who can help you to develop this compassionate relationship with yourself. And it's a lifetime's work. It's not like something that is going to be fixed in 5 minutes. You know, unless it is. Unless instant enlightenment hits you, in which case, congratulations. So what I'm going to do for you is pull 2 more cards, and this is going to be showing what does Spirit want you to know is in store for you as you progress along this journey. Alrighty, so those cards pretty much jumped right out of the deck for you. So we have the Knight of Wands in reverse and the 9 of Swords, which actually came out for the last pile too. And it's pretty perfect. What you are moving towards is the ability to not move completely governed by your passions. And this is quite possibly why you have this kind of doubtful relationship towards your emotions, because the times when you have followed your most intense passions or emotions, you might have gotten into some hot water, but you learned from those experiences. They don't have to define how you engage with your passions, and what you are moving towards is happiness or contentment that is not limited by your sharp perceptions of yourself. It is time to allow those experiences not to define how you see yourself, because the way that Spirit sees you is beautiful and pure and charming and delightful, and you do not have to think differently. And please don't think differently. Spirit is so happy that you are alive and experiencing and examining and experimenting. So that is the message. Please be gentle with yourselves. Please don't criticize yourselves. Your emotions are not your enemy. Your passions are not your enemy. Your passions and emotions are a language which your body and soul speak, and you can learn it, and you are learning it. But the only thing we need to remove from the way that you are learning is the part of you that does not like yourself in this process. So please, please be kind to yourselves. I hope that this reading brought you some validation, confirmation, and support on your journey. I am absolutely honored to deliver these messages. I think that it is incredible and mind-blowing how they come out. I am so very grateful to Source, to the universe, to those benevolent guides and energies which help us on our way. I understand pretty much nothing of how this works, but I am completely in awe and gratitude at being able to participate in it. And if this video did resonate for you, then of course I would love it if you like it, or if you give me a comment to let me know how it resonated. That pretty much makes my day every time that it happens. Or even subscribe to my channel. All of those things help me out with YouTube algorithms and expose my content to more people, which is obviously something that gives back to me in a way for making the videos. However, if you don't get around to doing any of those things, I am still in very deep gratitude and delight to be someone who is bringing forth these messages to you. And I wish you all the very best. Hi, group number 3. Let's take a look at what it is that you feel like you cannot do or be or have that Spirit wants you to know that you can. What is it that you feel blocked from that Spirit wants you to know that you can have? Okay, so I was only going to pull 2 cards, but I had an extra one jump out, so I'm going to take all 3. So we have the Hanged Man in reverse, and the 7 of Wands, and we also have the 6 of Swords. So what it is that you feel blocked from is almost like your thing. You feel like you cannot start the thing that is gonna be the most aligned career for you because you are having to meet obligations, you're having to meet responsibilities. You feel held back from being able to go after what you really dream about because you are having to sustain something which you actually don't feel like is feeding you. And so instead of this time of being held back from it being a space in which you can be like growing and developing and planning towards it, you're feeling like it is a trap where you are just constantly having to sustain the thing that is not feeding you, and you don't feel like you can get ahead enough to be able to move forward, because every time that you do get ahead, every time you do get some money saved or get your resources in order to be able to leave this situation, it feels to you like something is pulling you back. And this is something which you feel like has been going on for a long time and you want to be done with it. So this is a reading about what you feel like you can't have, but Spirit wants you to know that you can. And that 7 of Wands in the middle, I'm seeing like you know what your thing is, or if you don't know what it is, like you know that there's something out there that you are really going to jive with, and you believe in your heart of hearts that you can do this, that you came to do this, and that you will do this, and it's just these circumstances around you which are making you feel cut off from it. So I'm going to pull 2 cards, and this is going to be showing what are the steps, what is the method by which you can move towards this. So we have the 7 of Cups and the 4 of Cups. The Seven of Cups came out for another reading, but the energy is so starkly different for this reading. This Seven of Cups is letting you know, indulge in your fantasies. Oh my goodness, daydream. Think about what it is that inspires you about this chosen path of yours, or if you feel like you're not on the right path and you want to get towards the path that you know you should be on, let your fantasies guide you. Let the places that your daydreams go when you are not paying attention be what guides you towards what you want. The energy of this indulgence in fantasies is going to boost you up so much that you feel jazzed to move towards the thing that makes you feel most passionate and excited. With the Four of Cups, this is a really specific Four of Cups card, and I think about this every time that I pull it, because she is completely contorted, balancing these cups in the way that she is. And it's like, basically, stop. Stop doing this stuff. Stop contorting yourself to meet these obligations that don't represent you. You're pulling yourself out of shape by trying to do this all the time. And I know that that doesn't feel easy, okay? I know what it is like to have responsibilities weigh on you and to not believe that you can get out from under them. But Spirit is telling you, you can. You do not have to live in this situation where you are making yourself uncomfortable, or inhabiting this completely uncomfortable space in order to sustain something which doesn't even represent you. Like, straight up, stop it. You are not helping yourself. You're good at it. Look at her. She is doing a fantastic dance. She is so adept at what she is doing that she's balancing 4 different cups on different parts of her body. But stop doing that dance. I don't care how good you are at it. If you want to move towards the thing that you are most passionate about, there's a little bit of a feedback loop that you have to drop, because meeting these responsibilities is a positive feedback loop for you. But there is something so much more positive that is going to come from putting that down. Lean into your daydreams. Get excited about what you're doing, and see how much of your current responsibilities you can leave behind. It's almost like move away, like move out of whatever situation is causing you to feel restricted. Move out of relationships which have become obligations. Let yourself follow what you are fired up about. And look, I know that that is kind of contentious advice to give, like, hey, you should drop all your responsibilities. So let's put in a disclaimer. This is a tarot card reading on YouTube, right? It's not something that tells you how to govern your life, but this is the message being represented in the cards. If you really care about this thing that fires you up and you really want to move towards it, then the way to move towards it is to start dropping some of the pieces of your life which are not serving it. So I'm going to pull an oracle card, and this is going to show what is the energy, action, or insight which is going to be the most useful to you at this moment in time. I mean, just play with it. Play with how you can meet your responsibilities. See if there are ways which feel less stagnant to you. Okay, we have codependency, key to freedom. So these two trees, which are growing right next to each other, are limiting the way that they can grow. They're limiting their own health. They're limiting their own expansion by growing so closely into each other. So there is a job or a situation or a person that gives you this positive feedback loop that I was mentioning with the Four of Cups. And it's like, yes, it gives a little bit back to you, but it does not really nourish you. It does not really allow you to grow and expand. It is starting to hold you back and limit you. It's like you are ready to be powerful, but you are staying in an energy that is clingy, looking for support from something that is actually started to hold you back. Codependent relationships, whether they are with a person or a job or an institution or whatever it might be, they are so comfortable and they allow us to stay in one place if that's what you want. What Spirit is saying here is like, if you feel blocked from this sense of power and freedom that you are dreaming about, then stop with the codependency. If you want to stay there, then stop getting upset that you're not in this other state of being. You get to make the choice. But if the choice that you're making is making you unhappy, then maybe it is time to re-examine that. So I'm going to pull 2 more cards, and this is going to show what you are moving towards. This reading asks the question, what do you think that you can't have that Spirit says you can? And Spirit is saying that you can have this feeling of empowerment, of standing in your fire, of following what you're most passionate about. There's just a couple of things that have to be let go along the way, but let us see how you are getting there or what you are moving towards. So we have the Chariot, and the King of Wands, which is really cool, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, that's 7 of Wands. That is like the initial stage of starting to stick up for what you are into, starting to stick up for your point of view, what you're most passionate about, what inspires you. The King of Wands, he's not in the beginning stages of doing that. He has mastered it. He lives it. He can bring about what he chooses because he has mastered the art of manifestation. He can take his dreams and make them realities, and that is what you are moving towards, and I love it. So the Chariot here, now we have the Chariot and the Hanged Man, and those are both major arcana. The Chariot is about moving. So this moving on that you are being encouraged to do is just as big, it feels just as big as the stagnation felt. This is a big decision, or it is a big journey. I mean, say it was travel specifically that you wanted to do but felt blocked from. This is saying like, you're going to travel for the next 10 years. or like moving out of your house where you have been feeling stuck for a long time. I mean, I know that in this current climate, a lot of adults have to move back in with their parents, and that's just how it is. That's how you survive. And this would be like coming out of that, making the shift into being independent rather than codependent. And I know it's scary because I've been there. I've been there when I did not think I could support myself, but my spirit was telling me that this was the way to go, and I did. And you will find that you can make it. Even if it is scary, you will find new ways that you have not yet considered will fall into your lap for how you can sustain yourself. And you're going to become the King of Wands. You're going to master making your dreams reality. Like, it's almost going to be intimidating how good you are at doing that. People are going to look up to you. And you're probably going to feel like kind of badass. So that is your message, my badass friends. If you feel like your circumstances right now are limiting you and you have to contort yourself in order to match them, the reality is that you can move away from that. And your move is going to be big and exciting. And that wraps up your reading, and I'm really happy for you. And I hope, as always, that this reading brought you confirmation, validation, support. I am always completely in awe of Spirit bringing forth these messages and bringing them to the right people at the right moment in time. I don't understand anything about how that works, but for me personally, the existence of benevolent energies in the universe seems unquestionable, and it absolutely blows my mind. And I'm so grateful to be able to participate and bring forth these messages. And, you know, if the video did resonate for you, if this message did give something to you, then of course I would love it if you were to like the video or comment and let me know, because that is one of the most surefire ways to make my day, or even subscribe to my channel. All of those things give me a boost in the YouTube algorithms as far as I understand it, and that helps me out in return for making the videos. But of course, and always, if you don't get around to doing that, I am deeply honored and grateful to bring forth these messages anyway. I hope that they resonate for you. I hope they bring you something. And I wish you all the very best. Hey, group number 4, let us find out what it is that you have convinced yourself that you cannot have or do or be, that Spirit wants you to know that you can. So what is it that group 4 feels blocked from, that Spirit wants them to know that actually they can have? So we have the 8 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords in reverse. So there is a feeling of being betrayed or stabbed in the back here, and what that is, it's like you were building something in a community of people. This could be a job or a friend group that is looking to be something stable and sustaining to that group of people, but you feel cast out of that group. You feel stabbed in the back. Suddenly you are not part of it, even though you wanted to feed into it and help it grow and be a member of the community that make this thing happen, whether it is a job or a circle of friends or something along those lines. But with the Five of Swords being in reverse, actually the message is, like, the reason that you were betrayed or like had people talking behind your back or were somehow edged out of this group is because actually it's not in line with you. You have something different to bring forwards, and that doesn't mean that you can't have community in which to build. It's like, you know, you can do whatever you want, but you can't necessarily do it with whoever you want. And that's not a bad thing, because if you are doing something with a group of people which you're having to compromise yourself to do it, it does not actually serve you. Like, you are cast from a different mold. You have something different to do, but that doesn't mean that you won't find community in the end. It just means that this particular community was not yours. So I'm going to pull 2 cards to show what is the method or what are the steps that you can take to move towards what you want. So we've got the 8 of Swords and Strength. So that energy that I was feeling of like 2 different types of people, like the people that you were involved with aren't actually your kind of people. The kind of people they are is like these pentacle beings, and the kind of person you are is this sword being. So these are like these earthy beings with these horns, and you have this bird headdress, right? This 8 of Swords is letting you know that this moment is for introspection for you. It is for blocking out those other ideas which you got tangled up in and actually seeking your own ideas, seeking your own resonances completely independent of what you have been involved with before. You don't need to be part of that other circle of people because you have your own tribe, let's say. What this process is doing, it is encouraging you to develop a strength, the likes of which you have never had before. This is a strength that you are earning right now. And it's something that nobody can take from you because nobody gave it to you. You created it for yourself by enduring the trials that you have and by shutting out these other influences and tuning into that which is most true to you. You don't need to be what these other people are. You don't need to fit in with them. Neither one of you is better or worse. You are just different. And you're going to come out of this situation with so much strength. Almost like you come out of it like a decorated warrior, someone who has earned every scar that they have and also earned the way that they healed from it. So I'm going to pull an oracle card, and this is going to be asking what energy, action, or insight is going to be the most useful to you at this moment in time. So we have conquering fear, start today, which is super consistent with that message about strength. It's super consistent with the energy of that Five of Swords, where this person feels completely betrayed and alone. This angel in that card is letting you know that Spirit has your back, even whilst you step away from everything that you previously understood. Spirit is going to support you as you move towards something which is more authentic to you, and it's something that you have never seen. It has not been shown to you from the outside, but you will find it. You'll find it with other people. You'll find resonances with other people. It's like if the Pentacles were a tribe and the Swords were a tribe. You've been hanging with the Pentacles tribe, but the more authentic you become, the more in line with your true self you become, you're gonna find the other members of the Sword tribe. Spirit is acknowledging how frightening that feels right now. How frightening it is to feel alone and cast adrift. Spirit has your back. What you find will be more true to you than anything you've seen before. So I'm going to pull 2 cards to show what it is that you are moving towards. So we've got the 4 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. Oh man, look at that though. I mean, think about what I was just saying about the Sword tribe and the Pentacle tribe. So the way that you're moving forwards, it's like it feels so tenuous, like you're balancing on these swords and you feel completely unstable and you don't know what it is that lies in wait for you. The 4 of Swords would typically represent like taking a break from your anxieties, but the way that this card is depicted, there is the energy of being removed. but it looks so tenuous, the path that they're having to walk, and that is most likely how your path is going to feel when you start walking it. And, you know, when you start, you are alone. But look at the Three of Swords. Okay, the Three of Swords. This would usually represent heartbreak. But what I'm actually feeling in this specific message is like, this is you conquering heartbreak. This is part of where that strength comes in, where that warrior energy comes in. That heartbreak that you experienced becomes irrelevant because not only are you becoming this like tried and tested warrior, but also you are finding another one of your tribe. You are able to hold the boundary against that which broke your heart because of the strength that you find, and also within the strength that you find is granted new alliances. And what you experienced before with this other group of people, it remains in your understanding and your history. It doesn't stop being something that you can build off of because you've experienced it, but it also does not define you, and it does not hold the same significance as it does for those others with whom you have been engaging. You are going to find your own friendship, your own alliances which are true, and you are going to find them as a significantly more empowered individual than you were before all of this started. So even if right now feels heartbreaking and frightening and unstable, the place you are going is so much more powerful than you have ever been before. And what's happening right now, it won't even matter. The feelings that are hurting you right now, yes, they're significant, yes, they're valid, but it's almost like they will become a blip. They will become irrelevant. And you will be holding your own, such as you have never done before. So I hope that this reading brings you validation and confirmation and support. I hope it meets you where you're at and gives you something that helps you. I am always honored to deliver these messages, and I am in complete awe of how the benevolent energies in the universe will consistently bring them out and deliver them to whoever it is that needs them at the right moment in time. It blows my mind, and I am deeply grateful to be a part of it. I think that it is amazing. And as always, you know, if this video did resonate for you, if something in the messages helped you out, then of course I would love it if you would hit the like button or subscribe to my channel, or leave me a comment to let me know how it resonated. It always surprises and delights me if somebody does that, and it's a really lovely thing to receive. And not only that, but it helps boost my videos in the YouTube algorithms, which gives me a little bit back in return for making them. But if you don't get around to doing any of those things, I am still honored to bring out these messages. It is still a delight, and I am still completely amazed. And I wish you all of the very best on your journey.